Hello, everybody. We are live. We are live on Saturday. This is February 19th, 2022. Thank you for stopping by yet another edition of the Massachusetts Whiskey. Yes, whiskey reviews. And today's whiskey review, as you can tell from this title here, is a super popular, common, yet iconic straight bourbon whiskey out of Kentucky. This is the one, the only Evan Williams Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, distilled in Kentucky by Old Evan Williams Distillery, Bardstown, Kentucky. I don't know when the date was. I believe this is now a Heaven Hill brand product out of the state of Kentucky. And a little bit of information I was able to grab from the internet is this is apparently Evan Williams is the 7th best selling bourbon in the United States, according to Drizzly app sales, posted on fredmiddick.com, posted on Fred Middick's website. And that was from the second quarter of 2021 when that information came out. And according to master distiller Parker Beam, I found a video with Parker Beam on YouTube talking about this said bourbon whiskey. He says that this is between 5, 6, 7, and 8 years old, the blending of the barrels that go into making up your Evan Williams bottles. And he also said it's a combination of corn, rye, and barley malt. And apparently, the barley malt is one of the highest percentages of barley malt used in the bourbon whiskey industry. So that's kind of cool to hear. There's some information on the side of the bottle. They talk about Evan Williams setting up his distillery on the banks of the Ohio River in 1783 and is historically recognized as Kentucky's first distiller of bourbon. This special bourbon is a genuine sour mash that honors his pioneering heritage. There is Evan Williams. So the story is that I understand that Evan Williams is considered the first distiller of bourbon in Kentucky in 1789. However, 1783. However, Elijah Craig, you might know that brand of whiskey, but Elijah Craig, to most in the industry, is considered the father of bourbon. And he was the first gentleman to start aging bourbon back in 1789. So history might overlap each other. Who knows what the right answer to that question is? Who invented bourbon? I'm going to go with Evan Williams. What else do they say? Distilled from a time-honored formula originated in 1783, Evan Williams is produced in the heart of the Kentucky's bourbon country. This bourbon is aged in charcoal filtered for a smoother, more complex flavor enjoyed by or world-renowned by bourbon lovers. So this is a sour mash, and what a sour mash is, according to good old Wikipedia, it is a process used in the distilling industry that uses material from an older batch of mash to start the fermentation of a new batch. It's apparently very similar to sourdough bread with the starter yeast. And I got to imagine that makes this thing cheaper, or sour mashing is a little cheaper to produce. Hello, Tommy Carroll. All right, let's pour some Evan Williams into a Glencairn glass. Do a little tasting, I guess. There, that's good. I'm going to add water to the product after we do the neat pour without any water in it. All right, so the color of bourbon, definitely the color of bourbon is this. And by the way, bourbon's got to be at least 4 years old to be called a straight bourbon whiskey. And in order to be called bourbon, you have to have 51% corn in your mash bill, and it's got to be aged in new American white oak barrels. So cheers to that. 43%, 86 proof. The 1.75 milliliter or 1.75 liter bottle was about $23 in my part of in southeastern Massachusetts, and like 12 to 14 bucks for a 750. So great deal. All right. Nice, shiny kind of copper color. Nice. Some legs, obviously, at 43%. Okay, the nose on the Evan Williams, it's a little alcoholic, not too bad. But you get a lot of cinnamon, some of the rye spiciness to it, some barrel spice, vanilla, oak. And that's really, to me, that's really about it. There's nothing complex or hard to pick out. Maybe some caramelized sugars in that too. It is on the sweeter side, definitely. Let's take a drink of the Evan Williams Black Label. Cheers. Finish is pretty the finish is not very long. It's long to maybe medium, but it's not very long. You're getting a wealth of your cinnamon baking style spice. You're getting vanilla. You're getting a little bit of a spiciness from either rye or probably the barrel char. Cheers, Vanessa. And let's see. There's definitely a sweetness to it. It's not very, yeah, there's that nice corn sweetness in there that reminds you you're drinking a bourbon. I guess it is kind of a little bready, sourdough-ish. Those are about the notes. I don't really, to my palate, I don't really get any fruit kind of notes. They say on the website for evanwilliams.com, notes of oak, brown sugar, caramel, medium to long finish. I do not agree. Light and deep with vanilla and mint on the nose. Maybe there is a little herbal kind of essence to it on the nostrils, but not too much. I wouldn't say this is long finishing. Mm-mm. No, not very long. At the very end of the sip before it dries, you're left with the corn-like sweetness to it. Not very harsh. It's very round. There's no rough edges. So, yeah, you could drink that without water and it wouldn't burn or hurt. Nope. But now we're going to add my traditional with the whiskey reviews, 2 straws worth of some ice cold water. See if I can get some water in here. 1, oops, 2. All right. Let us incorporate that water into the whiskey. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it at this point, but when you add water, even ice, you can kind of see the solids kind of separating. Not the solids, the oils separating. But you won't really see that there. I did for a brief second, however. All right. How does this smell when you add the water addition to Evan Williams? It smells way more sugary sweet. Way more rye kind of influence comes out of this one. Maybe a little more of that minty quality. And more, is it more cinnamon? More cinnamon, spicy rye notes. A huge amount of vanilla. Almost cinnamon roll-esque in the in the nose at this point. I feel like it's just when you add water to a lot of bourbons and other kinds of whiskey varieties, that just amplifies notes. And here, basically, you're amplifying sweet notes and spicy / rye / peppery notes. So let's try the Evan Williams Black Label with the water. Cheers, everybody. That's incredibly easy sipping without a burn whatsoever. I feel like there's less burn, not that there was previously, but I feel like it's even less alcohol hitting your palate in taste. You're able to get, it's more of a creamier mouthfeel for the most part. The end of the sip is a longer finish. I would say now it's medium. And there's a lot of spice in the palate, in the back of the palate, in the back of towards the throat. You're starting off with rich vanillas and brown sugar cinnamony notes, like a cinnamon roll. But if there were, I know it's got a high, I don't know what the barley malt percentage is in Evan Williams. I know it's got a high amount of that barley malt, but if they added even more barley malt, I could imagine this having more like the doughy kind of quality to a cinnamon roll. It's going in the cinnamon roll direction. There's a little bit of vanilla. It maybe isn't super, super creamy. There's a little bit of a creaminess to the mouthfeel, as I mentioned, but I think more malt might actually do that for you. So cinnamon, spice, the rye is coming into the back end of that. Nice and dry. I'm left, for the most part, I'm left with the remnants of some sweet flavors here. Yeah, no real discernible fruitiness. But this is a bourbon whiskey and a whiskey in general that I will go back to all the time for its price point. I think it's a very nice bourbon. It doesn't taste cheap. It doesn't taste super expensive. It's very pleasing on the palate. It doesn't offend anybody unless they don't drink liquors or spirits. And it's a really good one to have around. And for that reasoning alone, I'll have to give it an 85, reluctantly, out of 100, because it's not the greatest thing, like I said, since sliced bread. But it is certainly a cut above lots of other whiskey brands and bottom to mid-tier shelf stuff. This is about one of the better ones you can grab on the market. So cheers to you, Mr. Evan Williams. Nice product and stuff. Go check out evanwilliams.com. They got a lot of good whiskeys. This one, I think I did the 1783 small batch. That was delicious. That's $35 for a handle in the United States and where I live. And they have a single barrel. I've never tried, but nothing from Evan Williams is super expensive. So, yeah, Evan Williams. Cheers, everybody. Nice stuff. Cheers. And until next time, keep tasting those great whiskeys. We'll see you soon. Bye.